Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are we all doing, everyone? I'm hoping that you're having a beautiful week and you're having a very nice day. I know that so far, things have been going well for me, although I will say last week, oh boy, was it hectic, because seriously, I was having serious computer issues. Like, my computer wasn't working and I wasn't able to go and make progress on my videos. Like, it was that bad. It's going fine now, but honestly, I'm pretty much at the mood of like, you know what? Maybe it's time I should go and find myself a new computer. But anyways, my God, when it comes to entertainment and animation news, it was such a massive week, but what we are mainly going to go and focus on is the trailers. And since we got a big batch of trailers over here, I'm not going to be doing this alone. In fact, I got someone right here that I consider to be a good friend that we have often collaborated on, including a lot of yearly roundups of animated movies and even talking about award season regarding which ones we think are the best or which ones we think would win in terms of best animated short or best animated feature. Whenever we talk about cartoons, it's always a lot of fun. But you know what? I've always been collaborating on her stuff. I think it's time to go and return the favor and invite her over here, you know, bring in some hospitality where she could come over to my place so we could talk more about cartoons. So please welcome everybody. Oh, and thank you very much, DJ, for being the new fish so far. So as I was saying, please welcome everybody from Rachel's Reviews, Rachel Wagner. Rachel, how are you doing?
I'm so happy to be here. As I was saying to you off air, anytime, I'm happy to be here. I love being here. I love hanging out and I love talking animation, and so it's just great. And it's been a very interesting year so far, and yeah, so it's great to talk animation with my friend.
Exactly. Hey, when we're talking about animation, when the discussion of animation comes up, it's always a good time no matter what. I mean, that's part of the reason why I even made this podcast in the first place. But yes, we do have plenty of trailers that we're going to go and check out. And I know you've just told me that you've recently been seeing a lot of animated movies, many of which are some smaller ones that deserve to have some attention. But now I want to go and ask you, Rachel, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast?
I'm ready. Mentally, spiritually, I'm prepared, ready to go. Let's do this.
All right, now it's time I ask the chat wall. Are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it. Who is prepared? All right, let's see. People are ready? Ah, yes, I see. People are set. People are prepared. People are all hyped up. And now, with all that said, it is time that we shall now go and get things started. And with our first one that we are going to be looking into, the first trailer that we have, we're going to go and start off by asking you, Rachel, a bit of a question, because like I said, you watched a bunch of movies recently, but one of which that I noticed you have was Toy Story 5. Can you give us your quick thoughts about it, if you can?
Yeah, so this is basically like an out of theater reaction, quick social media take, not like a full review, just to be clear to the Disney folks out there. Yes, so I really enjoyed it. I had my skepticism, just like everybody else, about it. But I actually think that it's possibly the funniest entry.
Really?
Particularly Conan O'Brien's new character, very, very funny. And it also, I think, is special because it's the one that I think focuses the most on the child character.
Oh, really?
Yes,
with Bonnie?
so Bonnie has like a true character arc. Whereas, I mean, Andy had moments, but not like a real sort of starting here. It's, a character arc. But Bonnie has a real character arc in this. She's a real part of the movie in a way that I don't think we've seen before. So I liked it a lot more than I thought. I mean, I actually liked four. I've liked all of the Toy Story movies except for Lightyear, and but this one was better still than I expected. So, way to
Wow.
go.
Honestly, very glad to hear it. Very happy
Yes.
to hear that with Toy Story 5, it's like a lot of people say it's unnecessary, but it turns out,
Yeah.
well, maybe it's more necessary than people thought.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, if you think about it, these characters are basically immortal. I don't think they can really, in the world of this franchise, I don't think they can really. How do they die?
Yeah, that is a fair point.
You know what I'm saying? Like they just keep getting passed on to a new kid and new kid.
There is technically the incinerator that maybe they could have.
There. Yeah. And so I mean, I guess is there maybe there's some way that they can, because even if you think about it, even the Sid's toys had heads removed, things like that, and that didn't kill them. That just so.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're going down some crazy rabbit hole at that point about
It's true,
the mortality of toys in Toy Story.
I'm just saying that, like, in a way, it makes sense that we keep telling stories about these characters because they literally can go forever.
That is true. But what I want to talk about, however, I bring Toy Story 5 up mainly because, well, we're not going to talk about that specifically, but it's actually more in regards to their next animated feature. Because with Toy Story 5's release, they also put out the teaser trailer for their next animated film. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the teaser trailer for the upcoming Pixar movie, Gatto.
Only in theaters, March 2027.
And that was Gatto, to which is, like the trailer itself says, the movie shall be coming out in theaters on March 5th of next year. So, Rachel, I'd like to know what you think about what we just saw here.
It's interesting because they didn't have a short in front of Toy Story 5, but in some ways, I feel like this, doesn't it sort of feel like they're animated shorts?
I do. Actually, the funny thing is that what I notice about this is that this is the kind of teaser trailer that they used to do many years ago. Because you remember when Pixar, they used to do these teaser trailers that it would just exclusively be, oh my God, by the way, sorry for sidetracking, but I noticed there's been a lot of new subscriptions going on. Thank you, people. As I was saying, you remember when Pixar used to do like these little cartoons for their teaser trailer, and it features the characters, but it's not clips from the movie whatsoever. It's just their own thing that they would go and do. So I feel like it's a little bit of a throwback to that time. I don't know if we are going to see that scene in particular be in the movie itself, but it kind of feels like when Pixar used to do those little cartoons to promote what's going to be coming up. Do you recall? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. It just had that feeling of like a whole little story in a trailer, with the light bulb and the cats and then everything like that. And so I agree.
Yeah. So, yeah. And even people are bringing up that it's been a long time since we've had a Pixar teaser that that showed clips that are exclusively on the teaser and not in the movie. Like in this decade, the only other time that they've done so was Elemental, and that was it. So, but with this one, I gotta say,
that's a good point.
But when it comes to the Gatto teaser, I feel like that one is honestly This gives me a lot of hope and a lot of excitement for what's to come with Gatto because, as you mentioned, this is a funny short and it's like really cute to see like, you know, you got these Godfather cats going on acting like the mafia, and then suddenly they are cats, but then like they get distracted by the light bulb. Like that to me was a lot of fun. That it promises that, okay, the humor is going to definitely be there, like especially for cat people. Like I think that was one of the main things I did. Like I have friends who are cat people, and I just shared it with them. Like, oh, here you go. Like, here, you can have some Pixar cats. Go and check that out.
Yeah, some people in the comments are saying Elio had one.
Elio did have one?
With their trailer, but it was for like the other movie when it was a different movie.
Oh, like from years ago, like when it was supposed to come out in like 2024, I think.
Was it that? What was that? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the original plan.
What they're saying, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, two teasers due to the change of leadership of this direction. Yeah. I don't remember trailers that well, but I don't know. It just felt like a little short to me of these cats in the light bulb and the which was refreshing since we didn't get a short, which makes me sad. Like I like having a little Pixar short.
Yeah, well, it is kind of a lost art in general. I mean, like, it's not just Pixar, but like, you know, Disney and the other studios like are no longer doing it. Well, I mean, they're still doing shorts, but like they don't put it in front of the theater.
Do you think they're saving it for Disney Plus? But like, I wish, why not put up some of these Spark shorts? Put them up in as your short before the movie. That could be an advertisement for Disney Plus.
You know, actually, there's something like I just recalled that there was at one point they kind of did that. I remember when they back in I think 2024 or something like that, when they were re-releasing their like the movies they put out on Disney Plus, like Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, and those came out with some of the Spark shorts, or they came out with a short as well.
Yeah. They're saying in the chat that the last time we had an original Pixar short was in front of Incredibles 2.
Oh, with Bao. Yeah, that is true. Like Toy Story.
Bums me out.
Yeah.
I love the shorts.
Yeah, I wish we could bring that back. I don't know, like, I don't know which studio like is gonna go and do it, but like, we need to bring that art form back just to bring back the shorts.
Well, they had now they think about it, they had a short before Migration.
Well,
they had a minion short.
Yeah.
and they had what was the movie that had the turtles short?
Oh, the SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, that's right, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess it's like oddly enough Paramount that's so far carrying the tradition.
Yeah.
Like
Go figure. Oh.
Carl's dick. Oh, that's
I
true.
liked it. It's cute. It feels like, okay, it's just a teaser, so we just get a little taste of the art style and the characters, but we have no idea about the story, you know, or anything like that. But I think it's fine for a teaser.
Yeah, I will say, like, even with the animation, it does have me curious to see what they're going to do, because because Gatto has noted that now Pixar is actually going to lean in more on actually doing a stylized computer animated feature. And like, you do get a little bit of a taste of that right at the beginning. Like when you see the cats on the rooftop and you see you see this stylized Italy that's on the background, kind of like a living concept art that's going on. So it all has this very painterly feel to it. So that's one thing. Like when the actual trailer itself comes, I'm pretty curious to see how Pixar is going to be pulling that off.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be the most hybrid animation that they've done yet? It'll kind of look like it.
Well, as you said, it's just a short little teaser that's not even a minute long. So it's like, it's hard to really say.
For so long, Pixar was on the realism track. We wanted like Good Dinosaur, Toy Story 4. You know, we want to make everything look as realistic as possible. And the other studios have been kind of encouraging a little bit more of a abstract, artistic approach, with some of these films. Spider-Verse is probably the most popular, but certainly, K-pop Demon Hunters, there's a lot of these that they're not trying to be realistic looking.
Hmm.
And it's nice. It'd be nice to see what Pixar could do with the more hybrid approach.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an aspect I find that this is common with Disney, is that usually they're the ones that are and when I say Disney, I mean Disney in general, like Disney and Pixar. They're generally always late when it comes to jumping onto the animation style trends. Even back in the 2000s, Disney animation took a long time before they suddenly decide, okay, let's make an actual computer animated feature with Chicken Run. So I'm not really that surprised that it took them a bit of time to like ease on into it, but it's like at least they're starting, they're starting to get into it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the art style is for Hexed. I'll be very curious.
I meant to say Chicken Little. I didn't mean. I think I misspoke and said Chicken Run.
Oh, right. I knew what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what style they bring to Hexed.
I think from what I've heard, like they're going to go more into their they're going back to their more like the more traditional CG style, I believe.
Oh, you think? Yeah.
Yeah, like they did recently release some pictures of it, and I think that might be the direction. Like with Disney, so far, like Disney animation, I think that's another one where they'll take a bit more time. They've actually done, like, technically they have already done it with Wish, where they emulated the classic traditional cel shaded animation. But for Disney, like, to continue moving forward with it, that could probably take more time. But at least, like, for now, we do have Pixar that they'll start things out with Gatto.
Yeah. Do you think that we'll get a Hex trailer in front of Moana?
I think so. Like they've been talking about that it's going to be coming soon. I am a little bit surprised that it's not out now at the same time with Toy Story 4, but I'm guessing Disney's going to save that a little bit later. But actually it does make sense with Moana, like to put the next Disney animated movie in front of a live action remake of a Disney animated movie.
It seems like it's got to be either Moana or Spider-Man. I think one or the other.
Nah, I Moana. Like for Hexed, I think like they're gonna go for the audience of Moana more so than the audience of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I would think so, but because after that, what do they even have like for a while?
Actually,
after Spider-Man, they don't have hardly. I can't think of anything.
Actually, the funny thing is, some people are saying that rumor has it that the Hex trailer is tomorrow.
Ooh, what?
Oh, so already it's going to be sooner than expected.
I mean, I guess that would make sense before Toy Story 5.
Yeah, either before Toy Story 5 or even before Minions and Monsters.
Which you didn't give Minions and Monsters to talk about with the trailers, but
they didn't have one out this week, did they?
Constantly amazed by how well Illumination is run. I do not love their movies in general, but man, it's a well-run company, and what a great idea to have Minions and Monsters. Kids love dinosaurs. They love monsters like that. Combining the when I saw that, I was just like, oh my gosh. They just wrote themselves a $1 billion check for sure.
Yeah, I will say I'm not a fan of the Minions movies themselves, but the last trailer kind of convinced me that, okay, this might legit have some potential.
I liked the second Minions movie. Mainly because of that plane, the Minions flying a plane.
Oh, right.
Scene I thought was peak Minions. And I think the Minions are at their best when they are mining silent movie comedy, when they are reaching for those tropes, when they're Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, that kind of a feel. That's when the Minions work for me. When they're just like banana, 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 like that kind of stuff. I just don't get it. I don't like it. But to me, that flying the plane whole sequence was right out of something like Buster Keaton
Oh
would
yeah.
have done. And I thought it was really, really, really funny. So that it gave it a bump for me. But yeah, I don't know. It's such a well-run company. I just admire them very much.
Yeah.
Even if I don't love the movies,
No,
it's
I understand where you're coming from, but just to go back to the Gatto trailer,
Yeah.
what are your quick overall thoughts?
Oh yeah, so I liked it as kind of almost like a short, like a little animated short. But it's a teaser, so it just gets you to see the characters and that it's coming out. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same here. It's honestly very cute, and and it honestly has me very curious to know what's going to be in store the movie. I'm glad to see that they brought back the that they brought back that classic style of making little cartoons with the teaser trailers. So we'll see how things are going to go when it's going to be coming out on March 5th of next year.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, I would like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, what did you think of the teaser trailer of Gatto? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys have some criticisms? Now, let me know what you think.
Yeah, I got lots and lots of comments.
Oh, yeah.
In the chat about it.
Let's see. This trailer looks very cute. While this didn't show much, it could be a fun movie. Visually, the animation looks really nice, especially with how stylistic it looks. It also kind of gives me Godfather vibes, and the humor is very solid. So overall, I'm definitely looking forward to this. And I think it was smart of them to move this up from next summer to March of next year to avoid massive competition coming out at the time, including Beyond the Spider-Verse. Yeah, that is definitely true. Let's see.
Next one. It says, even though I'm disappointed by what happened to Bee Fry, their original film Gatto looks so good. Love the humorous cat moments with the Godfather parody, which is much better. Sorry, it keeps going away.
I can pick it up. I know where the comment is, which is much better than the K-pop Demon Hunters parody in the new Scary Movie. Pixar is now exploring new animation styles, and that's a huge step up for the studio. As an artist, animation fan, and cat lover, I am watching this day one in theaters. All right.
Yeah.
Now this, I like this. Of course, the main positive is the animation. It looks like a beautiful sketch art crossed with a painting. Other than that, I really like the gag of the cat screwing around with the light bulb, and I like how they use the Godfather score. But yeah, this is a solid teaser. I'm really curious about it, especially since we're finally about to get a good animated movie about the mafia. Looking at you, Shark Tale.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's great to see Pixar experimenting with a new animation style in Gatto, and Venice is the perfect setting to show it off. The teaser is cute and funny, and as a cat person, it feels very accurate. Mark Ruffalo voicing the lead is also a fun addition and adds another MCU actor to the Pixar roster. But off topic, can we stop the ripping off Flo claims already? Flo didn't invent black cats or water settings. People ask for something new from Pixar, and this is exactly that. Seriously, people. Yeah, honestly,
I haven't heard that anywhere. Who's
Yeah.
saying that?
I don't know. I feel like that kind of comment is people looking for a reason to hate it. Like, they don't care how the film is. They just want an excuse to go and hate it. It's not about, it's not about wanting to see the studio do better. It's about maintaining the narrative that Disney is the enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, just because they both have cats, I mean, that's a stretch.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they also ripping off like All Dogs Go to Heaven, or I mean, no, there's been lots
they're
of
ripping
movies
off
over the years with dogs and cats. Like,
No, Mark Ruffalo is ripping off Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They're both black cats that talk.
yeah, right, exactly.
Let's see.
That's absurd.
This already has me pretty hyped. I know
Plus,
everyone.
I think that also doesn't give Flo the credit it actually deserves. It's not just a
Yeah.
cat movie.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
there's way more to it than that. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's like,
but then again, those people making the comparisons, do you think they would care? Do you think they actually care about Flo?
yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
Exactly. Anyways, as I was reading, this has me pretty hyped. I know everybody is mostly praising the fact that Pixar is finally using the Spider-Verse style, but honestly, I'm getting pretty tired of people only wanting every animated film nowadays to do this style, and whatever style it is, it still looks really fun and makes me super intrigued to see what the full story is about. In other news, Aardman founders Peter Lord and David Sproxton have now officially been knighted.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's nice.
Congrats to them.
I think I'll read one more comment and then we're going to go on our first break. I never really cared about teaser trailers, but the Gatto teaser is the first time I felt antsy over it since I want to know how it would look, and they really delivered it. I loved how it looked when every shot in the trailer can look like concept art when paused, and I liked how narrow the Mark Ruffalo cat looks 2D compared to Rocco as the hostage cat. I'm excited to see how Pixar goes with the future on experimental with the art style if Gatto is a success. All right, so once again, I love to see the enthusiasm with Gatto, and already it looks like people are going to be hyping this up as one of the most anticipated animated films of next year. So if you are excited to go and check out Gatto, keep in mind that it will be coming out in theaters on March 5th, 2027. Now we're going to go on to our first break, and when we do come back, well, speaking of black cats, we're going to look into another trailer that will feature a black cat, but some could even argue that it's probably the most famous black cat in pop culture, so stay tuned for that. All right, welcome back. Now, when it comes to our next trailer, we got another cat that we're about to check out. And I think it is a safe question to go and ask. Rachel, you like Dr. Seuss, right?
Of course.
Of
Yes.
course. Now, here's a more complex question. Do you like the Dr. Seuss movies?
Most of them, no. I don't mind the oh, what's it called? The one with Steve Carell.
Oh, Horton Hears a Who.
Yes, I don't mind that one. That one's decent. But yeah, no, for the most part, no.
That's fair, honestly. I mean, for me, I like Horton Hears a Who. That still remains as like the GOAT of Dr. Seuss movies. But it looks like we may have another one that's going to be coming out that could possibly be on par, or at least it hopes to, especially when it has the biggest Dr. Seuss icon as the star, now having his second chance on the big screen after the, well, I think it's safe to say the infamous Mike Myers movie. So with that said, let's go ahead and check out the third trailer, since it says official trailer 3, as we are going to check out the official trailer of Warner Brothers' The Cat in the Hat.
Welcome back to the Institute for the Institution of Imagination and Inspiration, LLC.
That's actually offensive.
So that was The Cat in the Hat, to which it will be coming out in theaters on November 6th. So, Rachel, what are your thoughts on this?
So I actually think it looks pretty fun. It's the problem that you have in the Dr. Seuss adaptations is that they're very simple stories. They're short stories. And so that's why the ones that have worked in general have been shorts. The feature films, when you stretch it out to feature film length, it just doesn't work. And the thing I think that, because I mean, especially Cat in the Hat, I mean, there's hardly any plot at all to that book. It's the cat in the hat, he goes and babysits for two kids and entertains them, and that's it. That's the story. Like, there's no plot. And so you can't make a feature film. They tried and failed spectacularly. So I think what's smart about this is that this has almost nothing to do with the book. Like they are
Really?
creating a whole new lore, a whole new world. There's going to be a whole new adventure. So that at least intrigues me a little bit. So they're just taking the Cat in the Hat as the character and they're putting a whole new story, which I think is the right move.
Interesting. Honestly, I'm a little more perplexed than you are, because for me, that element of like getting away from the narrative of the original Cat in the Hat book, I'm rather confused. I was just there like, wait, what's going on? What does this have to do with the Cat in the Hat? Like,
But what else? What other choice did they have to do? There's not like what could they possibly do with the Cat in the Hat for a feature film? There's just nothing. Like I feel like I don't know. I just feel like okay, like that's what you had to do.
yeah, I mean, like, that is fair. I am not going to argue with that. For me, like, because, like, personally, I would think to myself, it's like, okay, I don't know if I would really know what I would do for a Cat in the Hat movie. But this direction, I felt like, wait a minute, like, I guess, like, worst case, if the problem is me, then I just need time to try to register, like, okay, this is actually what the narrative is going on. This is what's happening. But I'm not gonna lie, there's something about it that I can't help but think, like, okay, that's your plot, but am I the only one that feels like it's kind of familiar? I feel like the idea that they suggested kind of feels like something that, like, it's already been done before, especially with animated films. And it was just recently that I thought to myself, wait, I did just recently watch this. Do you remember several months ago, In Your Dreams, that like the movie on Netflix?
You're right. That is very similar.
There's so much of it that feels like it's so much of the same, where they're jumping to different like weird worlds, and like all like that's just bursting with random imagination. Like they're in an ocean and there's like underwear that's swimming around and stuff like that. And there's and not to mention the whole narrative. Like the big thing is that the kids don't want to move out. And there's a promise of like, okay, if we help out the Cat in the Hat, then we could go back in time where we don't end up moving out. It's the same thing like in Your Dreams, where like they want, you know, the kids want to make sure that they don't want their parents to be divorced, and that they're hoping that if they go and meet the Sandman, then maybe they'll go and like fix everything, you know, it'll be back the way it used to be. Like, I know some people in the comments are saying that it is a major coincidence, but there's just like, but still, like, it could definitely be a coincidence, but I just feel like it's hard not to think about the similarities. It's like, it's kind of uncanny.
It's definitely not the most original plot, but I guess if somebody were to come up to me and be like, okay, your assignment is you have to make a feature film out of Cat in the Hat, I think I would I would definitely lean towards this kind of strategy than I would trying to actually adapt the book. And so, because I just think that would be terrible.
I don't know. I'd argue maybe, like, I personally argue that maybe there would be a way that you could take the source material and you would turn that into into a legit feature. Like I know that the 2003 movie poisoned that idea, but maybe there could be.
There's enough meat on the bones. There's just not enough story there for a feature film. It's just him entertaining kids for why their mom's gone.
Yeah,
there's no plot.
Yeah, like I suppose.
Thing 1, thing 2, thing 3 appear. There's the grumpy fish. There's not a story.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but like, there could be some extra somethings. Like with Horton Hears a Who, for example. Like Horton Hears a Who is a straightforward adaptation, but then they add like a few extra things. Like the mayor is not is not much of a character in the book, but then in the movie they made him like a major protagonist, and then from there they would add more to the narrative of the movie. And in Cat in the Hat, it's just like maybe there could have been a way where you would add some of that extra conflict, but I don't know. Like, I guess for me, I'm just very thrown off of the idea of like, oh, we got a Cat in the Hat movie. What is it about? Well, you got these two kids that they move to a new place. They don't like it. And now with the help of the Cat in the Hat, who has this time machine, they got to go and get the time machine to go back in time where they don't have to move and live happily ever after from there.
What I think might have been fun, again, if somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, we want you to do a Cat in the Hat," what I think could have been fun is if you basically did an extended universe Men in Black kind of approach to Cat in the Hat, and you had them going around and kind of interacting with the other characters from the Seuss world. So you had them with, the Lorax and with the Grinch and with, all these different things. And there'd be some bad guy, who cares? And that could be fun.
No, honestly, that would. I would be down to see like a Dr. Seuss movie with multiple characters all coming together. I don't know if they could do that because of the copyright issues, like because like you kind of have the conflicts with like Illumination already doing like the Lorax and the Grinch, and now it's Warner Brothers that's going to do that they're going to do the Cat in the Hat, and they got a few more that's going to be coming out. Like they got that musical of Oh, the Places You'll Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got those. Like, honestly, that is a great idea. That would honestly be the best way to do a Dr. Seuss movie. Just have everyone come together. But for now,
I'm available. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I just think that is the biggest problem with trying to adapt Dr. Seuss is his stories are short stories for a reason. And so when you stretch them out, it just doesn't work. It works for shorts. It does not work for feature films. And so, yeah, it's just hard.
Yeah, no, you're right on that. But when it comes to, okay, so, all right, we'll accept that
some people have complained about how bright the animation is. How do you feel about that?
The animation? Oh, actually,
Yeah,
I was
bright white, bright colors, that it's very bright. And I don't mind it, but some people have said that.
No, I don't mind it too much either. Like, this is a case where they are going with a more stylized look. It's interesting because this is actually from D-Neg Animation. I think that's how you say it. Because this is the same studio that did Nimona. And the art style is very reminiscent. Like there are some strong comparables where you could tell like, oh yeah, the art style is not going, like it doesn't look like Dr. Seuss, but you could tell from the art style looking back that, yeah, the character, like you see the people and the characters, they do look like something that would be in the same universe as Nimona, and that even includes the shading and the use of colors and stuff like that. But I like you, I don't mind the saturated colors, especially in the opening. It's not much of a problem for me, but like, I guess I can understand some people complaining that it might be a bit much. Like, even what I have here, like, the yellow pops out, like, hard on this.
Yeah. And the white is very, like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't bother me.
No, that didn't bother me either. But as I was saying, okay, we can pretty much accept that this is going to be the story of it, but do you think that they're going to pull that off? And also, what do you think of like the comedy that's in there?
I mean, I think this will be average. I'd be surprised, I guess, if it's a total disaster. If it's awful. But my guess is that it will be a basic, average animated film. I don't see this as getting like nominated for, especially this year with so many strong entries.
Mm-hmm.
But to be perfectly frank, I thought that about K-pop Demon Hunters, and look how wrong I was about that before it came out. So you never know until you actually see the movie. What it is. But
yeah,
that looks average to me.
All right, that is fair. And honestly, for me, it's just I find that For me, I'm kind of the opposite. I feel like it would go either way. I feel like this would either be a massive surprise and it would work out great and like the animation and comedy would blow us away, or it could become a disaster that it would be on par to the Mike Myers movie. And honestly, with the stuff that we've seen so far, again, just like with the narrative where there's that big coincidence that it feels very similar to what we've seen before, like even when it comes to the comedy, it's just very to me. And even like at the end, when you see all the different things like that, I can't help but feel like, okay, this is a joke that you've clearly taken from Ice Age. Like I'm sure there have been moments where Sid...
Speaking of trailers... Oh my gosh. Did you see that?
Oh God. Yeah. The Ice Age one. I did see that last week. Oh my goodness.
Also, were you aware that there is a Tom and Jerry movie coming out this year?
Yes, I did hear. Well, it's like it technically already came out in China, but it's Viva Films apparently that are going to be distributing it.
I had no idea until I was at the theater just this weekend and they had a whatever those are called, the science things. And yeah, Tom and Jerry. I was like, what?
Apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, so overall though, it looks like it's mixed feelings. Some might be more positive, like Rachel. Some could be more, I don't know, like me, but we'll see how it'll ultimately go when the movie will be coming out on November 6th. And with that said, now I would like to know from the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, what do you all think about the new trailer of The Cat in the Hat? Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? Do you side more with Rachel or do you side more with me? I'd like to know what you think. All right, so this trailer for me just looks okay. While I'm not expecting anything great, it could be a fun time. The animation is visually impressive and very creative, and some of the humor is decent. So while I'm not expecting it to be great, it could be fun. It could be a fun time. It can't be any worse than the Mike Myers movie. Also, if you want an example of a Dr. Seuss adaptation that expands on the story well, take a look at the Green Eggs and Ham TV series. That show is better than it has any right to be. Yeah, I've actually heard a lot of great things about that show.
Another one people should check out is the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. This is the only live action script that Dr. Seuss wrote.
Ah,
if you want
yes.
something different. It's very fun, very creative.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, that thing, honestly, like more people should check that out. And not to mention that you got Captain Hook himself, Hans Conried, who's playing, I believe, the villain?
Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. Maybe you should check that out.
All right, let's see. Man, why didn't they lead with this? This was way better. This was a way better trailer than what they led it. Bill Hader is clearly having a blast with the role. The cel shaded animation is really creative, and the jokes are pretty decent. Not 100% sold, but still, I'm much more intrigued now. Though, it will be way better than the 2003 movie, no doubt. Seriously, 2003 Cat gave off major I am in the files vibes. I don't know why. Oh dear, oh dear.
Wow, that's a lot.
To be honest, I'm kind of mixed. It's better than the last trailer, insert toot fart joke here, and I get what Rachel said, that it's a good choice that they stayed away from the book and mostly made their own thing, but it's still not gripping me since you pointed out the comparisons to In Your Dreams, which I personally really didn't like. Maybe it'll surprise me, but we'll wait and see. Also, I'm taking a wild guess that you're skipping out on the Chimptopia trailer and that whole drama. Yeah, I'm not going to be getting into that. Would rather not get into it. It sounds a lot more like a mess than it should. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not. So I will have to look it up after.
Apparently, it's like this spiteful trailer that also has a Kickstarter coming up that they're just blasting the indie animated shows that are on YouTube, like The Amazing Digital Circus or Has Been Hotel, and just saying like, yo, do you want less shows like that and you want more stuff like Smiling Friends? Then support our show. You know, it's basically like its marketing is more bashing others than presenting the quality of its own series.
That's a choice.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, so far this actually seems like an improvement compared to the last trailer, but that is not saying much. I feel like some elements can be all been there, done that. However, I think this could be a fun film and maybe better than some of the other adaptations, like The Cat in the Hat meets Alice in Wonderland, give or take. Thinking at least it'll be good as the 2003 Mike Myers film. I'm on Rachel's side on that. So surprisingly, more and more people are on your side on this. I see more enthusiasm about this, surprisingly enough.
Well, did he say that I liked the 2003 film? Because I don't.
No, I think he said
what he was saying.
I think he's speaking for himself.
Okay.
No, like those are two separate sentences.
I don't want that to get out on the internet.
Yeah, oh boy. You could say whatever scandals you want about me, but please do not say that I like the Cat in the Hat movie with Mike Myers.
Although I guess if I wanted to I can't. The only way to watch Cat in the Hat 2003 is if you are on some kind of drug.
Maybe.
Then watch it. That would be the only thing.
Or with friends, because you don't want to suffer alone.
Fair. Yeah. It was wow.
Yeah. I'll give it that this trailer made me more curious on how this adaptation will turn out. I'll admit that some of the jokes made me chuckle, and I will say that the mix of cel-shaded and traditional CG looks great, and Bill Hader as the Cat in the Hat is really good. It could end up becoming a fun time, and I hope it'll end up being one of the better Dr. Seuss adaptations. All right. I think I'll read one more, and then we could go on our next break. This trailer did nothing for me, one way or another. The animation is colorful, I love Bill Hader, but this feels like it's adding too much lore in it for how simple the original book is. I am just not sure if it fits this Dr. Seuss book specifically. I am open though, since I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat, but that is mainly from ironic enjoyment, or nostalgia, or Stockholm Syndrome. Either way, it all sounds valid. But yeah, apparently there is more of a positive reception on this Cat in the Hat trailer than I thought, which could definitely be a good thing for the film. And you guys could be right. This could end up turning out to be a fun time. And if you want to go and check out the Cat in the Hat movie, then keep in mind that the movie shall be released later this year on November 6th. Now, we are going to go on to our next trailer, and when we come back, we're going to take a small break from talking about movie trailers, and this time, we are going to go and check out a series trailer that I wouldn't be surprised might end up becoming Disney's next fan favorite series, so stay tuned for that. And we are back. Now, when it comes to the next trailer, this isn't going to be about a movie, but instead, this is actually going to be about a TV show. And just as we were talking off camera, Rachel, do you watch TV shows in general?
No, if it's not something that I'm covering for Hallmarkie's podcast, then I probably am not watching it. I cover obviously everything from Hallmark. And there's a few Netflix shows, PBS shows. Like we just finished covering Count of Monte Cristo on PBS. We covered Bridgerton on Netflix. So there's like a few, but for the most part, if it's if I'm not covering it on my podcast, I just don't have time for television because I spend so much time on movies and theater.
Yeah. I understand. I'm more of a movie person as well. And for me, like, it's rare if I would like jump into an animated series. I would have to like really motivate myself to do so, or I would have to have like a Patreon request in order to watch an animated series so that like I have a purpose for it. But when it comes to this one, however, I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly this would become a fan favorite that people will be talking about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out our next trailer, which will be for the upcoming Disney Plus animated series, The Doomies.
It has begun. Like a great evil is trying to break free.
We're gonna find those creatures of doom.
You sure about this?
We're the Doomies. Of course I'm not sure.
And that is The Doomies, to which it will be coming out on Disney Plus on June 26th. Now, Rachel, I would like to know your thoughts on what we have just watched.
I think it looks pretty fun. It definitely has Gravity Falls vibes, Star versus the Forces of Evil vibes, those kind of things, which I love both those shows. And I'm not sure who the animator is on these, but yeah, I mean, I thought it looked pretty fun.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure either. Maybe the chat wall can go and put in the details onto the people behind it. But yeah, honestly, I saw this trailer of the Doomies, and honestly, I feel like it has all the right materials to go and become the next fan favorite Disney animated series, because one major thing that really stands out is that this is one of those shows that is not afraid to go into the dark side, or at least do as much as it can as a family-friendly animated show to get into that dark aspect or play around in that light horror genre. Very much like what we have seen with Gravity Falls, The Owl House, even a bit of Amphibia as well. Like they would go into that one. And the
Garden Wall too.
Yeah, or I guess like just vibes. I guess just in general, for sure, with like I was just focusing on the Disney ones, like that is true. Like if we do add in stuff like Cartoon Network, then yeah, the list would like really go big, like with as you mentioned, Over the Garden Wall, or even some of like Adventure Time as well, because it can get into that dark aspect. But yeah, I honestly, from watching this trailer, like not only do you have like the horror elements that they do look fun, adding in those light scares into it, but at the same time, I also find that it's also pretty funny. Like the comedy, I will say, is pretty effective, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually did enjoy the gags with the main kid being a YouTuber as well. Like when he's entering into the dark realms and he sees like the source of all evil, and he's just like one of the main things he's doing is like, don't forget to subscribe, and then like he's about to get attacked, and just like he's just there, think of the followers,
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Those are good. Like I will say, like they definitely nailed the trait. Yeah, so they definitely nailed the humor and the horror aspect, and even the animation. I will say it's actually pretty solid what they have done. Like basically establishing its own unique style. It looks very much like a comic book in a way, like a little more on the simple side, but more in a good way, where like it's enough to go and really play around with the creativity.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. It could also feel derivative, but hopefully they'll bring enough of themselves, kind of into it.
Actually, someone actually did put in the credits, just for the sake, like we could go and mention it. The Doomies is an upcoming Disney Plus animated series co-created by director Andres Fernandez, head writer Henry Gifford, and art director Rémi Zarour. And it is produced by French animation studio Zilliam in association with Disney Television Animation.
I mean, you could probably guess it's coming out of France if it's animation these days.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, like French is becoming so much more of like an animation capital, and I mean it's already enough.
Unbelievable.
It's already enough that they have Illumination, and they already got like the Minions and the Mario movies coming out of there. But now, like, it's funny because like now we're seeing Disney is bringing more animated shows, and it's not just the Doomies, but have you also heard of you've also heard of Dragon Strikers, or the Dragon Striker?
Of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's another one that apparently it came from France, and it's slowly but surely gaining more attention, actually.
Yeah. Did Arcane, did that come from France? Do you know?
Not 100%. I
That
don't
was
think
great.
so. Yeah. Like, trust me, I've heard a lot of amazing things about Arcane, but
Oh, you haven't
I
seen
don't.
it? Oh, it's
Nah, I am guilty. Like, I know I actually have a
and it's
Blu-ray
only
of
2
season 1.
seasons.
I know, but again, like, I need the motivation to really get into a TV show. I've already mentioned.
I also really loved Hilda. That was a
Oh
favorite
yeah,
of mine.
Hilda. Yeah, Hilda is another very nice one.
I loved that show.
Yeah. Oh, actually, apparently Disney has done a lot with Zillium. So there's been more French animation with Disney, like apparently Augie and the Cockroaches, and that recent Chip and Dale spinoff, Chip and Dale Park Life. Like they've also done that as well.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so there's definitely been a lot of like France stuff that Disney is bringing out. But yeah, I would say with that one, I will admit maybe I didn't have a lot of comments on it, but no, it definitely, like, honestly, so far I could see this becoming another big winner. I could see that people can probably get into it, and it could be Disney's next like fan favorite animated show.
Can you speak French being up there in Canada?
Yeah. I'm perfectly
Yeah.
bilingual.
See, you should definitely be going out to Annecy and all this. You wouldn't even have to worry about the language barrier.
Well, I mean, it's not about the language barrier. It's the freaking travel. It's like, yeah, I'll understand it, but still, though, I mean, like, it's quite an expense to fly there, to book the hotel and all that stuff. That's still a lot.
You definitely should go though.
One day.
It's a bucket list for me. I'd love to go. I mean, I would love to go to Cannes and I would love to go to Annecy one time. I've done some of the other festivals, but I've never done anything. You know, I have been out of the country because I went to TIFF last year, and I might go this year. I'm debating between TIFF and New York Film Festival, but yeah, no, you definitely should. You should go.
Yeah, I should. Like with Annecy, it's like one day. I definitely should. I will admit. But yeah, honestly, with Doomies so far, we didn't have a lot of comment, but still, though, definitely looks very promising. And if you are interested to go and check out the Doomies, then keep in mind that it shall be released on Disney Plus on June 26th. And with that said, now I would like to go and ask you all in the chat, what do you all think about this Doomies trailer? If there's anything else that you would like to go and comment, if there's anything you would like to say about your thoughts on the series or the trailer, let me know what you all think. Let's see. Yeah, I've been curious about this show for a while now. I like the art style mimicking comic strips like Peanuts and Garfield, but with more horror and action scenes that I can dig. Also, Rachel, yes, I do love Toy Story 5 as well. I hope everyone will enjoy it once it's finally out. All right. Let's see. It's nice to see when studios go into the more spooky side of their animation, because when they do, they release some pretty good bangers, and the Doomies looks like another hit for Disney television animation. I just hope that it could get attention and fans over its run so it won't get canceled. But seeing how Dragon Strikers is finding its audience, it gives me hope for this too. Speaking of which, have any of you seen Dragon Striker yet? I don't know if the show is out. Like, I don't know if I wasn't checking if the show is released, but I did see the trailer not long ago. And I mean, as I told you before, it definitely has great potential, especially when it does have that Avatar: The Last Airbender vibe, except it's all themed to soccer. So it's basically like you got soccer, but you also got like these magical grand abilities and epic animation that's like a bit mock anime, but still though, like it's great to hear that it's finding its audience.
It's so much harder for new shows in any medium to find their audience on streaming, because in the past you could afford to have a show be kind of weak because it could be either the lead in or the lead out of a popular show, right? So it would get enough in just being part of the lineup, right? Well, now you don't have lineups anymore. You don't have that anymore. And so a show has to 100% stand on its own and be its own thing and draw its own crowd. and that's expensive to market, and it's expensive to to get that kind of foothold in audience. It's really hard.
No, I understand. I mean, like with the, with the current landscape of streaming and stuff like that, it does feel like it is harder and harder, which does explain why, like in the past few years, it's hard for any show to go beyond 3 seasons or let alone 2.
Hmm.
Yeah,
it's really hard. Even Arcane, only 2 seasons.
There's been a lot that just came and went. Let's see. I gotta say, this trailer looks really intriguing. Visually, it's really cool, especially with the animation. It definitely gives me Gravity Falls vibes. The characters seem like they're a lot of fun, and the humor is solid. So overall, this definitely has a lot of potential, and it could be another solid Disney animated series. Not gonna lie, when I first heard the title, I thought it was gonna be a ripoff of the Addams Family, but from what I saw in the trailer, it looks like a spiritual successor to Gravity Falls with a slight Cult of the Lamb flavor. Oh yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah, like based on that game. Anyways, I think it looks interesting. Something that looks like a continuation of the time they made Gravity Falls and Amphibia and more. And all I could hope for is that Disney is willing to keep it, unlike the recent times where their recent shows didn't even make it to 1 season. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we forgot to mention that there are some that like don't even stick to like they don't even go through 1 season. They'll just put out a few episodes and then suddenly they're gone.
That's why, because it's so hard. Like, it's really hard to get that audience because you're just alone, like to get people to give it a shot if it doesn't have some kind of franchise or IP or something like that. Whereas like in the past, some people would give it a shot just because they were already watching the television, you know, and they were watching, whatever show, Animaniacs or something like that, and then they'd start watching the next show, be like, oh, this is pretty good too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the TV is on, might as well see what's going on.
Yeah,
and funny,
you don't have that anymore, and so I think that it's hard.
Yeah, actually, someone did actually made a comment similar. I honestly miss watching traditional TV and watching new shows on them. Honestly, if physical media is making a comeback as of late, then would it be nice to see traditional TV channels see a similar resurgence? Honestly, it's not impossible, but I wonder, like, can it actually happen? Can traditional TV make a comeback?
No, I don't think so.
Nah, well, we're at the point of no return with streaming.
I do. I mean, people just don't have cable subscriptions anymore. People don't have. I mean, most people that I know at least don't have. I mean, even now, I finally, I held on for a long time, but then when they finally got Google Fiber, because I kept my cable, my Comcast, because of the internet. So I kept it for a long time, and then finally last year we got Google Fiber, and so I hated Comcast. They were a nightmare. So I was so happy to get rid of them. But yeah, I did finally get rid of cable TV. And I don't know, I feel like I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, that
I mean,
is
it still
fair.
technically exists, hasn't completely gone away, but not in the way that.
Yeah, it's kind of like on its last legs.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, trust me. Like even in Canada, there's one company called Chorus, and they own a whole bunch of the cable networks in Canada. And it's only a matter of time until they file for bankruptcy. Like they've been going down, and like they had to cut off a lot of channels, like even the ones like I remember growing up with. So yeah, it's been going pretty bad.
It's interesting because you do have channels like Hallmark Channel that have persisted, and often have like the highest ratings. Hallmark Channel of other than sports, usually Hallmark is very high in the cable ratings. But if you look, even with them being more successful than almost any other channel, still like their numbers are so much less than they were not even that long ago. I mean, it's like the difference between a typical Hallmark movie in like in like 2000 and like 2010 would probably get 5 to 7 million watchers. And now a typical like Hallmark movie on a good day in Christmas will get between 1.5 and 2.
Dang.
And
Yeesh.
that's a success. That's like a good one that did well.
Man, that like
Yeah.
honestly, that feels like that's a common success for like a big YouTube channel. Like to hear a television
Yeah.
station having that, it's like, yeah, it's kind of sad. But you know, the funny thing is that like in a way, the only way that I could see cable television somehow making a comeback is that there are like maybe you've heard of this. There are some streaming networks like Disney Plus where they would take a bunch of episodes from like a specific thing. Like they would take like The Simpsons or a bunch of their animated TV shows, and they would just have like a whole collage of them and just put it, and just like have a network of just that, or have like a randomizer where like you could just put that on and they'll go and switch up like, okay, the next episode, let's go with this one. Or the next episode, let's go with this show. Like you've heard of those randomizers?
Yeah, they actually have one on Hallmark Plus actually that you can watch. That if you sign up for their streaming service, that you just click on it and it's always playing. Either there's a Christmas one and then there's a non-Christmas one that you can, and so it's just like a traditional. It's like what you're saying, but yeah, the last, let's see here. So the most successful Hallmark Christmas movie ever was it was actually 2014, was 5.75 million viewers.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, and then last year the most successful one was, let's see here. Was the most successful one last year was 1.77.
Oh, so a big downgrade.
Yes.
Okay, I see what you mean. But
It's wild.
but yeah, so I guess it's safe to say that basically streaming is here to stay, and it would be nice if if those shows can have a chance on television, but I don't know. I guess now we got to play the streaming game, and let's hope that with the Doomies that it's going to go and hopefully it will succeed on Disney Plus when the series will be coming out on June 26th. So with that said, we're going to go on to our next break, and we're going to go back into movies, but when it comes to our next one, well, sorry to say, but I don't think I saved the best trailer for last here, especially when it's going to be one of these summer features that it will probably be a big hit, but reception-wise, I have no idea. So I guess we'll have to wait and see when we come back, and we're going to check out the live-action remake trailer. And welcome back. Now, when it comes to our next trailer, this will be the last one I have here, but it won't be the grand finale, by the way. What we are going to be talking about will be a live-action remake. And Rachel, you've often talked about them in your videos. So far, how do you feel about them?
I loathe them. There have been a couple that have been decent, but for the most part, I just really, really dislike this whole practice of taking and copying, the animated classics, and especially when they feel a need to like update them so that they are somehow more PC or more correct or whatever. And I especially despise the way Disney will then market them as like a new masterpiece, and that's irritating to me. Even better than the original. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So yeah,
I actually said that.
They did in one of the ads for the Beauty and the Beast. They
Oh
said better than
no.
the original, and I about lost my mind. And I, there's a couple that like my favorite will always be and has always been the Pete's Dragon because they let at least that it's its own unique vision and voice and film, and it to me that one is by far the best of any of them. And then the Cinderella's decent, but I just hate the trend so much. It's awful.
Just wondering, my personal favorite would be the Jungle Book one from 2016.
Yeah, that's up
did
there. That's up there. But because at least they brought their own artistic style, vision, story. Like they changed the story quite a bit. It felt unique, right? It didn't feel like you were just getting the same thing rinsed off. And like why most of these movies they make like tons of money and then are completely forgotten. Because why on earth? Nobody would ever watch them over the originals. So once you got it at home, if you're sitting there and you're saying, should I watch new Lilo and Stitch or classically? Nobody in their right mind would pick the new one. Everybody would pick the original, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's again why Pete's Dragon is the best one because it's the only one that I would pick the new one over the original.
Yeah.
Personally.
And I'll even say as a Disney fan that it's honestly crazy to see that like with the whole trend, it's weird how like they would quickly come and go, especially like when you go to the Disney parks and there would be like a little moment where they would go and hype up the live action remake. And sometimes they'll even have like meet and greet, like they'll have meet and greets of some of the characters from the live action remakes, like Angelina Jolie Maleficent or Halle Bailey Ariel, for example. And then just a few months later, they're just going to go back to presenting the classic animated version. So it's like at that point where it's like, what's with that moment there? Like, what are you even doing?
Yeah, and they claim, oh, we're making a version for a new generation. We're making this generation's. No, you're not, Disney. You're making these movies for nostalgic adults who you have trained into believing that animation is less good than less worthwhile, is for kids. So you make these movies for adults who are nostalgic for the films that they grew up on, and those adults they see it once and they're done. They never need to see them again because they still have the originals that they actually like, and so they make a ton of money. You know, I guess there you go.
Yeah. But speaking of the new generation, I guess generations are less than 10 years old now, especially with the next one that we have coming up. So without further ado, why don't we go and actually check out the final trailer, as they call it, of the next Disney live action remake of Moana.
Moana, I want to know about you. Tell me about your hopes, your dreams.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like there is an escape here. And so that was the live action remake of Moana, to which it will be coming out in theaters on July 10th. So, in which category is this in? Do you think this is an improvement, or is this another one that they're just doing the same?
So there's a joke on my podcast where I say this movie took me to a dark place. This trailer took me to a dark place. I hate this trailer so much. It's so I mean, it just feels like the same movie, but worse. Why on earth would I want to watch this movie when I already have the same movie but with pretty animation? There's no reason. And his wig, I feel like personally triggered by that wig. It looks so terrible.
Especially with the fact that they have to really put attention to it, where it's like, oh, look at the definition of the curls. Yeah, I have nice hair. No, you don't, Dwayne. You should know you don't have hair.
Oh my gosh. It just, and the fact that I know it's going to make $1 billion is just makes me sad inside. It makes me depressed.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, unfortunately. Oh my god! But
why does the water look like blue Gatorade?
I don't know. It does sound good, actually.
It just looks like a copy of the original film, which is only 10 years old.
Not even 10 years old. It's gonna be 10 years old in November.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
like at least with the How to Train Your Dragon remake, that came out after it turned 10. This one, however, like it didn't even wait until it didn't even wait a decade when it came out. And by the way, you know the funny thing is like the more we look at it, the more that they keep adding things that feel like they're the same. Like one thing that like, okay, it's nice, but it's something that we've already gotten before is Minnie Maui. Like you probably saw like on Dwayne Johnson's chest where we do have like the 2D animation of Minnie Maui that is actually featured. Like we're still going to be getting that. And then we also got more of Tamatoa, which has been confirmed that Jermaine Clement is actually going to be back to reprise his role. So again, this is going to be more and more of just doing the same thing. And even in the trailer, it's hard to really find, like, other than a few minor jokes, it's they're just doing exactly the same thing. And
which, I mean, in a way, I can't really blame Disney, first of all, because these make so much money. But second of all, when they do try to change things, people will get all upset. Like recently, there was announced of a new character for the Tangled remake, right? And people were all like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, well, I don't understand that desire for sameness. I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people want the same thing over again that you already have? Why?
And you know what? Honestly, that is the reason why I personally consider one of the absolute worst live action remakes, in my opinion, the How to Train Your Dragon remake, because that thing tries way too hard to be the exact same thing. It feels like that movie pretty much committed all the exact sins that people say that Disney has been doing with their remakes again and again and again. And yet that one apparently gets so much of a pass. And I feel like the only reason is because it's not from Disney. Like, I find it to be absurd that people get so upset over the Disney remakes, and yet somehow How to Train Your Dragon is okay. Which, I mean, like, if you enjoy the How to Train Your Dragon remake, that's perfectly fine. You like it, that's cool. Good on ya. But I don't want to hear you complaining about the Disney live action remakes when they're just doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's very true that it was shot for shot. I mean, literally shot for shot. The exact same, putting hand on head, the same shots with Toothless, the same, like it's almost identical. They have a couple more scenes of them training. That's about it.
Yeah,
any kind of difference.
I think the only difference that I could find is that you got Stoic, where even though he's still played by Gerard Butler, is somehow more cartoony, and then you got Gobber, who's more of a dick. Like, he's not really that funny. He's just a lot more of a dick in the live action remake.
Yeah. There's somebody in the chat saying that Amazon is making a Ferngully remake, and see this. It's interesting because people were like, "Oh, aren't you excited?" I'm like, "Why would I be excited about a Ferngully remake?" You know how I feel about it's interesting that people think that's my distaste for the live action remakes is just unique to Disney. No, I hate it across the board. I don't like it no matter what. I'm an animation girl. I love animation, and this whole idea of it's just so cheap and it's so lame. We're going to make like a cheap copy or sometimes an expensive copy of what we already have. Like, I just wish that more of them, again, to use Pete's Dragon as an example, they let David Lowery do his thing in that movie, and it's almost completely different than the animated film or than the original film. I wish that, because yeah, they might totally suck, like the Snow White was awful, but I would rather have that. I would rather have total disasters than all of these just copies that completely forgettable. I would rather them take like a bunch of swings and miss a lot of the time than what this current strategy. But then again, I can't blame them because that's what makes money. And at the end of the day, it's show business, not show friends.
Exactly. I mean, I'm on the same page as you, and this is something that I believe I mentioned in my How to Train Your Dragon review. I would be more than happy to have something that would try a bit of a different flavor, try to experiment with the original source material than just copying the same thing.
What I wish that the flavor of Once Upon a Time, that was what we basically got with these live action remakes, with what they do, like using the characters, using the story loosely to tell new stories, but still have all those Easter eggs and the iconography and the other things like that, making them kind of campy, making it fun. I wish that that's what they had. Because I mean, when I was growing up, I used to love fairy tale theater. Have you ever heard of fairy tale theater?
It sounds familiar, actually.
So it was done by Shelley Duvall, and she would bring all of her friends, and they would do these little movies that were the fairy tales. And there's pretty much everything. There's
I've heard of it. Yeah.
You know, and so I get the desire to have these stories in live action, to have them in a new way. I understand that, but I wish that we had if we're going to try to do that, I wish that we took the fairy tale theater or the Once Upon a Time or the, approach, as opposed to we're just going to copy whatever we had and then claim it's some kind of new and innovative, and look at those old-fashioned movies. We've grown so much since then. Oh, we're so modern now, and they were so outdated then. I just hate.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much of that. It really doesn't work. And then again, I do find that, like, I do find with Once Upon a Time, it does feel like one of the more original live action remakes, because technically I count that as a live action remake of The House of Mouse, because at that point they're just bringing in, like, even though it's like a different interpretation, a lot of them really are just straightforward adaptations of like the Disney characters. Like, it's not the Snow Queen. They got Elsa. And then they literally
it's like campy. It's a little bit fun. Like, I just wish that that's the road that they had gone down. I mean, I blame Tim Burton and that Alice in Wonderland thing. That's what started this whole nonsense. If that hadn't made $1 billion,
yeah, I don't blame you there. But at least, but the thing is, but at least with the Tim Burton one, it's like you never knew that it would go in that direction, and it wasn't even his intention. Like, it's not an adaptation of the Disney movie.
Yeah, it's just bummer, and I guess I just wish that audiences wanted something different. I don't blame Disney for giving people what they want. I just wish that people didn't want it.
Exactly.
Like,
it's like
why do they get upset when a new character is being added to the Tangled movie? Like, don't you want new characters? Like, why do you want it to be exactly the same? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's a certain point where it feels a bit, but then again, I feel like with the Tangled movie, like, regardless of the new character or not, people will still get into it, because especially they got their wish of having Catherine Hahn as Mother Gothel.
But you know what I mean? Like, why did they want that? Why? What is it that, it's so weird.
The thing is that there is an audience. That's the thing. And it's like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, why do people want the same? Like, it's so weird. But and somebody's saying watch the Broadway show. Most of those Broadway adaptations are terrible from Disney. Like,
Really?
yes, The Lion King, that is a good one. Beauty and the Beast is a good one. But like The Little Mermaid is not good, and the new songs are terrible. The new story not good. The Mary Poppins is really bad. And of course, all the original stuff from the movies are good, but with the new stuff, and especially for Mary Poppins, because the P.L. Travers estate made them adapt the book, which is so annoying.
Yeah.
And it's really bad. But yeah, most of those are not good.
Yeah, some people are, well, since you opened that floodgate, some people are asking about, what about Aladdin, or what about Frozen?
So Aladdin does benefit from having some Howard Ashman songs that were unused in the movie. And so that elevates it above. So it has Proud of Your Boy and things like that. And it's fine. Aladdin's fine. Frozen, they did write some really good new songs, the Lopez's in the Frozen, but it's a little boring. But overall, I like the Frozen. I think it's pretty good. But yeah,
Yeah, but to go back into our main subject, so with Moana, safe to say you ain't excited for it?
No, it looks absolutely terrible. I'm dreading it. Maybe low expectations will help, because I was dreading The Little Mermaid and it was better than I expected. So.
Yeah, that one I do find to be one of the better ones. But yeah, even with, I will say with Moana, at best, like the only positive thing that I could really say with this trailer that we've seen is that the girl who played Moana does show a little bit more promise. I find that she was dull in terms of her performance in the previous trailer, but in this one, it's like, okay, she is showing a bit more of her personality. But outside of that, though, it's just, again.
Outside of Rachel Zegler, there's, for the most part, the casting has been incredible on all of these. Like, it's usually not a casting problem. Emma Watson couldn't sing, but she was good other ways, but she couldn't sing. But for the most part, the movies, the problem with these live action remakes is not the cast.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's like technically the mission that they got to do. Like, I don't blame I'm not against, and I don't blame the people who have to go and work on it. Like, they're just doing what they can. It's just when the concept alone is a lost cause, what can you do?
Yeah, it's true. But the reason why The Little Mermaid worked for me, like all the stuff that I thought I would hate, I did hate. But the thing that surprised me and that made it work better was just the chemistry between the two of them, and how they basically made it a romantic comedy between the two of them.
That I do agree.
Got a lot, and I liked the fact that they were like both kind of nerdy and both collectors, and so they added something that was meaningful. And of course, you know, I love romantic comedy, so that's what worked for me about The Little Mermaid. You know, the visuals and the changes to kiss the girl and stuff like that. I hated that. But the rom-com vibes I actually really liked.
Yeah. So with
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what can you do? So with that said, now I'd like to go into the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you all, what do you all think about this Moana trailer? Did it change your mind about the movie? Are there some positive things that you could say about it? Or do you just hate it altogether? Let me know what you think. All right. What can I say except absolutely not? While maybe some of the visuals look decent, it's no different than other remakes where it's the exact same thing. Some of the CGI is laughably bad, and the original isn't even decent old. So, or even a decade old. So this is a pass for me, but I think it will be a hit no matter what. But hey, as long as people don't say that people who watch this movie are slaves to Disney, then it's okay by me. If you get that reference, you know what I mean. Yeah, there's just a little clip that's been going around of an angry reviewer who actually went out of his way to compare Disney adults or people who watch Disney movies as to African American slaves. So yeah, there are ways where the hate can go a little too far. Anyways,
and as a critic, you have to be open to anything that you, well, otherwise, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? When I sit down there to watch Moana, the live action remake, I'm open to it surprise me, just like I did with Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that is
You
true.
got to. Otherwise, you're not doing your job, in my opinion.
Let's see. The more footage I see, the less this clicks for me. I've defended Disney remakes before. Some I have enjoyed and some are Pinocchio. Oh, God, yeah.
Oh.
But this one feels like even Disney isn't that invested either. The lack
Talk
of
about a dark place. That
Oh,
Pinocchio.
God, yeah. The lack of promotion is especially odd given how big this IP is to them, and it almost makes me wonder if Disney wasn't fully sold on it either, and it only happened because The Rock pushed it through via his production company. Either way, while it's more colorful now, this is a pass for me.
Yeah, I do think that The Rock is very desperate for a hit.
Yeah.
I think he really, really needs it. And so that, I think he's right there.
I mean, like,
absolutely.
yeah, he's
especially after his Smashing Machine or whatever, that one bombed so bad. I think he really, and didn't get any Oscars or love. I think he really needs a hit.
Yeah, like he's trying to bring back like his old roles, like, hey, remember Maui? Or like he's also like, isn't he also bringing back the Jumanji movie? Like he's trying to do that again.
And I think he's even going to be in I think he's patched up things with what's his name for Vin Diesel.
Oh, for Fast?
Fast and Furious,
of course.
Which shows how desperate he is.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I'd like to imagine that Jared Bush simply sent the script to the live action Disney executives and said, yo, here's the script. It is basically the same script he wrote for the original movie back over a decade ago. I mean, to be fair, that's literally what happened with the How to Train Your Dragon remake, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Like, come on.
Literally what happened.
Like, come on, people. It's going to be the same, but with worse effects and not as good acting. No offense to the cast, though. While not making this into Broadway musical like what Frozen did, that was so well done and Jennifer Lee was heavily involved with it, that would make a lot of sense than a remake. Yeah, a Moana Broadway musical. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it definitely... well, they have a Moana Junior that like schools can do. But yeah, I think it could definitely be, could definitely sell. I mean, Aladdin has been there for a long time and it's never done like amazing. It's usually not like selling out. So, but they just had Hercules debut on the West End to mixed reviews, mixed success. So I think a lot of people thought that Hercules would be the next one to take over that Aladdin spot because Disney owns both those theaters.
Oh yeah,
and so it Lion King is going to be there forever.
Yeah.
But Disney owns it, so they can keep them there. They don't have it's basically there until Disney decides it's not there. But Hercules is the one a lot of people thought, but it didn't do like amazing on the West End. Even though it's interesting, I one of the D23s I went to, Alan Menken said that the Disney Hercules Broadway adaptation was one of the most satisfying experiences of his career.
Really?
Which kind of made me curious to
like, what?
Yeah, that's what he said. So he loved that experience. But yeah, I mean, Moana, it does make a lot of sense, I think. A lot of people said, we're to do a Tangled. So that could be coming as well after the live action remake does well. I think that they had a Tangled show that was on the cruise line.
Oh yeah, they did.
They also had a Toy Story.
I saw that one actually. That one's not bad. Yeah, it's actually not bad
on the cruise line, and that's how they test out some of these. They'll test it out on the cruise line, see what people think. There's also Finding Nemo. With that.
They tested out on Animal Kingdom.
Yep. Yeah. I think you can still see it there.
I think so.
I'm gonna see it this weekend. Believe it or not, at Tuacahn, which is a big amphitheater here.
Oh,
I'm
dang!
actually going this weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna see Finding Nemo and Les Miserables at Tuacahn. So yeah, it's definitely got to be on the short list for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of what they're considering. to take that Aladdin spot if they ever decide to let it go.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
But
it'd be
yes,
interesting.
but going back to Moana, safe to say that there's not much excitement or enthusiasm going on. But for those of you who are morbidly curious to check it out, then keep in mind that the movie shall be released on July 10th. And we're going to go on to one more break. And when we do come back, we will have one more discussion about the live action remakes. But regardless of how you may feel about them, this news is undeniably interesting. So you'll find out why after this. And now, everyone, it is now time that we will go and conclude this episode off with the grand finale. And for this grand finale, we will go and talk about one more thing in regards to the Disney live action remakes, but we're going to be focusing specifically on one of them. Now, Rachel, we've discussed plenty about films like the upcoming Moana remake, How to Train Your Dragon, Snow White, and all that stuff. But I'd like to know your thoughts about last year's Lilo and Stitch remake.
So it's interesting with this one because I thought it was incredibly bland. Like it was unmemorable. I would never watch it over the original, but it's not. It was like watchable. It was cute. Little girl was cute. It would probably be higher up for me in these if I was sane. I still didn't go fresh on it because it was just like, I just felt like, oh, this is the same as the animated film. Why would I watch this? But then everybody made all this huge deal out of the ending. And I was like, people have lost their minds. Like, it's not like they had her being raised by some stranger. This was their beloved family friend who had, like, and so she could go to school. Like, that's completely rational. And so that's the only reason I am for this sequel, is because they can show all of these idiots that Nani didn't abandon her sister to a fate worse than death. She went to school. I mean, she literally has a portal where she can see her sister anytime. I mean, it's, to me, that complaint was absolutely bizarre. But yeah, it was completely unmemorable, but I was irritated that people made me defend it because of this insane complaint. But yeah, so there, that's my thoughts on.
Nah, that is fair. And I mean, like, I called out the hate that it just went a little, like, it went too overblown and over exaggerated. Like, trust me, I've received backlash for trying to call that out. But,
like, I'm a much older sister. I have a sister that's 18 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. And so I actually appreciated that they found a way for Nani to go to school and to have a life and to have a, like, if God forbid something had happened to my parents and I'd had to care for my, younger siblings, it was definitely something I thought about, oh my gosh, like, what would I do? And I would like to think that people would help out so that I could go to school if something like that happened. That doesn't seem like an insane request to me. People were acting like she'd like turned her into this foster care system and was like.
Well, it's also worth, the thing is that it's also worth asking how many of those people that got mad have actually seen the Lilo and Stitch remake, because that is true. Actually one of those things where people would go out of their way, but like they would openly admit, well, I've never seen the movie, but it's like, okay, are you doing this because you actually care about the subject matter, or you just want to get engaged?
Well, and they have an agenda because of their politics and what they want, the points they want to get from their audience, and that's, instead of just being an authentic opinion, like, what did you actually think? It's just an excuse to fill that agenda, which I'm not interested in that at all. That is not, like, I can hear interesting points of view from all different political persuasions, and I like that, but not if you're going in to watch something, you have an agenda, and then you're just repeating the talking points. that people tell you, I'm not interested in that at all.
Yeah, nah, I understand. And that's why I want to go and discuss about the sequel, since the movie was a big hit. So of course there's going to be a follow-up,
Yeah.
but there is a very interesting update to it since, well, regardless if you love or hate the live action Lilo and Stitch remake, this has definitely made a lot of heads turn. So let's talk about Chris Sanders. Yes, it has been confirmed that Chris Sanders is now going to be the director of the sequel to the live action Lilo and Stitch remake. Now, previously, it has been confirmed that not only would he be reprising his role as Stitch, like he always does, but at the same time, he would also be writing the screenplay. It wasn't until recently when it has been confirmed that he would also be taking on directing duties. Now, this is actually a pretty big moment because this is actually going to be the first time in around 20 years since Chris Sanders is going to be coming back to Disney as a director. Because you probably know a little bit of the history where prior to this, Chris Sanders was a longtime animator at Disney and has worked on many of the classics during the 90s and the 2000s as well. He did storyboarding for films like The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast, and then has moved up the ranks to the point where he and Dean DeBlois would direct the original 2002 Lilo and Stitch. It wasn't until when he was working on American Dog, to which John Lasseter and Ed Catmull became the new heads of Disney's animation division, both at Walt Disney Animation Studios and Pixar. And from there, that's when John Lasseter decided to kick out Chris Sanders from the American Dog project. And that's when he and Dean DeBlois decided to leave Disney and go to DreamWorks Animation, where they would go on to go and direct films, or Chris Sanders especially would go on to direct the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, The Croods, and recently with The Wild Robot. So it's very interesting that now he's going to be directing Lilo and Stitch 2, or that he is going to be directing a Disney movie again.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising because I think Dean Fleischer Camp did a good job. So it kind of makes me wonder what's going on with him and what's going on there.
Yeah, I did hear that allegedly there might have been some production troubles, like Dean Fleischer Camp was not easy to work with, and that he may have, like, there was one day where he just didn't show up to work at all. But that's just hearsay. I cannot confirm if that is actually true, but it might have been
It'll be interesting to see what he does next, because now he can go out to people and say, I had $1 billion movie, let me make whatever, I want to make.
Yeah, it's true. Like now, yeah, like with that in his resume, I mean, like with the Lilo and Stitch remake, considering that it was critically well received as well, like not the best reviews, but I mean, it got positive reception from critics and audiences.
Yeah.
It made $1 billion. Like it did help to make a name for himself.
He has an Oscar nomination on his, on his resume. He's got a $1 billion film on his resume. So I think a lot of people would want to work with him.
No,
Interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm sure like he'll probably do fine. I wouldn't be surprised if he already has something in the works right now. Yeah. But now, like, after everything that we have talked about with the Disney live action remakes, and now there is going to be a Lilo and Stitch 2, and it's going to be directed by Chris Sanders. Do you think it's going to work out better?
Well, it's interesting because the sequels have been interesting to these live action remakes. We haven't gotten that many, but the ones we've gotten have been really weird. And so, which I guess I definitely prefer over the cut and copy. So, and I feel like because Lilo and Stitch is a little more grounded in like our time and our, that there's more that they can kind of do with it, with the story. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's potential of kind of the next step for Noni and Lilo. I mean, of course, you have the sequels of the animated film that they could at least get some inspiration from.
Or not to mention, like, I think one direction a lot of people are expecting is that it's really going to go into the animated series. So we're going to go and see more of those aliens. I mean, like even in the movie, there was like one little hint where you see in Jumba's ship where like he would go through like some of the different experiments that they would be there. So I wouldn't be
Have you seen the Maleficent sequel?
Oh, I remember I did that one. That
movie is bonkers.
That was nuts. Weird. I think it's one of the weakest of the Disney live action remakes, if we count that. But still, it's just, that's just weird.
I kind of respected it because it was just insane. And I mean, there's a whole scene in that movie where literally there's going to be like gas coming from the playing the piano, and they're just about to kill all these people. And I'm like, what is this movie? And I mean, that movie was crazy. And I mean, I thought Mufasa was bizarre, like what they decided to do.
Mufasa, I gotta say, like the origin stuff, I gotta say some of them are unintentionally funny. I love the way they introduce Pride Rock, where it's like there's a big fight scene going on, and it's like cringe. And Rafiki's just there like, oh hey, look, an earthquake, and then you see a mountain, it's just like ta-da, there's the iconic thing.
Like, why did they think on either of those films the children would be interested in those stories? Like, it's so strange to me. But yeah, I'm trying to think, what other sequels have they done? Yeah,
there's not
Through the Looking Glass.
Yeah, that one was weird. You want to talk about weird? That one was bizarre.
None of them good, but all bizarre. So I guess on that level, I'm kind of curious to see for
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, but for me, what's really intriguing now is the inclusion of Chris Sanders. You legit got the creator of Stitch himself to go and be on board to like both as the writer and director. So I am wondering with what are they going to do with like, what is he going to do? Is he going to be making more of his own story, or is it going to be more of like more of the fan service thing of including a lot of like the other experiments like Ruben and Angel and all of those characters?
Do you know if Chris Sanders was involved in any of those sequels or the animated show or anything like that?
Technically, yes, because he's been the voice of Stitch of just about everything, with the exception of the anime, I believe. He's been the only voice or the only English voice of Stitch. Like he's done, he's done everything. He's done the TV shows. He's done the movies. He's done the rides. He's done the commercials. He's done the merchandising. Like I would say like some of the video games even. Like I would say about 95 to 99% of the time you hear Stitch, it's Chris Sanders.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, he was there.
So I feel like there is a bit of potential to make something interesting. But, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it is ultimately a wait and see kind of thing. Maybe this, like with Chris Sanders, maybe it could go and work out where he could truly help out to capture the spirit of the original Lilo and Stitch, to go and help, to help patch things up with where it didn't go right with the original, with the 2025 film. But
I'm just glad they're making a sequel. So all these idiots that were complaining about Nani and doing hit pieces about how Disney's breaking up the traditional family and all that nonsense.
Actually, I just thought of this. You know what they could do? They could bring back Gontu. Gontu was Gontu was not in the first movie, so like I could probably imagine maybe they'll add like a plot element where they're going to bring in Gontu. So I think that could be a strong possibility. But yeah, I mean, and especially right now with Chris Sanders, like he is a very well established director, and he's been doing a lot of great work, especially at DreamWorks. I mean, he recently came out of The Wild Robot. So it's going to be exciting to see what else is going to be in store with what he's going to be adding to Lilo and Stitch.
Here's a question though. Do you think that they have to recast Lilo? Because they're gonna want her to be the same age?
I don't think
She's
so.
gonna look real different by the time we make this one.
I mean, that is a possibility. But the thing is that she's still showing up in like Disney premieres and stuff like that. Like she was actually there at the premiere of Toy Story 5, so they might still keep her in.
Because that would be a little bit harder because then they have to count for like those 2 years, 3 years, whatever. By the time the movie comes,
well, it is
by the time they're done.
Yeah, well,
she's gonna look different.
Well, I mean, keep in mind this is a sequel. This is not like a direct adaptation of Stitch Got a Glitch, so they can add in that element of like, they can add in that component of this is set a few years later. This is how things have been.
Yeah, but they would just have to account for what have they been doing, in those years.
Yeah, I mean, it could, but I mean, a simple exposition or a little backstory could go and explain that. It's, I mean, like, you just saw Toy Story 5, so it could be a little bit like with what they've done with Bonnie.
Yeah, but that's animation.
Well, yeah, it's animation.
I mean, she's growing up. I'm just saying she's gonna look different. Like it's little kids, like you're gonna grow up look different. If she was like 5 and now she's 8, that's a big difference.
Yeah, that is true, but I mean, I'm sure they could find a way. Again, this is a sequel where they could do whatever they want. So I mean, they could probably find a way.
It would be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
Besides, and if I could be honestly, I hope they do keep that little girl, even if she's a little bit older. Cute. She was like the best thing in the Lilo and Stitch remake. She was amazing. Yeah, so like honestly, you might as well keep the talent in.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe they'd have that Nani's finished school. It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
She's finished school, so she's not abandoning her sister anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just to go and highlight that. Oh boy. But yeah, overall though, honestly, when it comes to the idea of having Chris Sanders as the director, I think it will add an interesting twist to it. At the very least, I don't know if it will help make it actually good, but it has me intrigued.
It certainly couldn't hurt.
Yeah, and I honestly, considering we are talking about the subject of Disney live action remakes, that is probably the most praise it's going to be getting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely
watch Pete's Dragon. That one's really good.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, now with that said, though, now I would like to know from the chat wall. I want to ask you all, what do you think about Chris Sanders directing the sequel to the Lilo and Stitch remake? Do you think it will have potential? Do you think it could work out? Or do you think it's still hopeless? I would love to know your thoughts on that. All right, so when it comes to the Lilo and Stitch remake, I personally thought it was fine, and it's one of the better Disney live action remakes. And honestly, with Chris Sanders coming, this might have some potential. I mean, no one knows Stitch better than Chris Sanders himself. Personally, I think they will bring in Angel, and I do think they might bring in Gatto. And also, I'm wondering if they will redeem Jumba after how they made him the villain in the first movie. Yeah, I do hope so, because like making Jumba the straight up villain, I wasn't really that much of a fan.
Yeah,
I mean,
and all of that comedy really did not work.
Yeah, I mean, it's already enough that they, it was already enough that they changed him up to be Zach Galifianakis and sacrifice the Russian accent.
Yeah,
trying to make him a villain. Yeah, that's why honestly, I don't like. I thought, like I said, I thought the Lilo and Stitch remake is one of the better live action remakes, but the third act sucks. Let's see. Yeah. As a lifelong fan of the franchise, having Chris Sanders both writing and now directing the sequel is definitely interesting, because for the longest time, Chris Sanders was just providing Stitch's voice in most of the follow-ups in the original series, with Ben Diskin doing his voice in both the anime and Stitch and I, and wasn't really creatively involved with them. I wonder how he'll handle writing characters like Hamsterville or even some of the other experiments, most likely Ruben and Angel. I mean, we'll see. We'll see one step at a time.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't without issues, Lilo and Stitch remake was still one of the better live-action remakes from Disney, and while Chris Sanders' only previous live-action film was kind of a mixed bag. Oh yeah, the Call of the Wild thing. Yeah, that is true. Did you see that one?
I did, yeah.
How was that?
I mean, if you can get over how weird the wolf looks, then it's fine. But I couldn't get over it. It looked so bad.
Yeah, at least Stitch has the excuse that he's an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because anyways, where was I? Just let's see. Wait, oh, there we go. I could see him making an improvement with the sequel and maybe even address some of the criticisms related to the first film. Also, this is my asinine conspiracy theory, but does anyone feel like Disney is planning to make a film series that involves Stitch, an adult Lilo fighting space bandits? I don't know if I would say they would try to make like a film series, but I could see that as like a potential animated show in the future.
If we were in 2020, I could totally see that. Now, they're just not greenlighting that much for Disney Plus, so I wouldn't expect it anymore.
Yeah, it's like maybe in the future, but way in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with wait, oh, I didn't read one. Oh, hold on, one more comment to go and read. Sorry. Let's see. To Chris Sanders himself, I'm happy you get to continue directing more films, even if it's a sequel to a remake. I think this could potentially be pretty good since Chris Sanders knows how to make a good movie, especially with The Wild Robot. But he only directed one live-action film based on The Call of the Wild, and it was okay at best. But I'm sure he'll do a better job this time. He knows his characters, he knows the lore, so yeah, good luck, Chris. All right, so with that said, I believe that should do it for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And Rachel, thank you so much for joining me on this. This definitely was a fun time.
Thank you for having me. It was a blast. Super fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if people want to go and follow you, where is it that they could find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over the place. And we even have an episode of Talking Disney that's coming up this week. So someone to look forward to with me and my friend Stanford. We do that about once a month. We'll do a Talking Disney Classics episode. So check that out. And then also at Hallmarkies Podcast, if you like rom-coms or talking about Christmas movies, things like that, check out over there. Have a lot of fun. And yeah, it's fun.
All right, awesome. And as for me, if you want to go and follow more of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, then don't forget to go and subscribe to the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel and the AniMat Live Twitch channel. And at the same time, if you are listening to this on whatever podcast service you're listening to, whether it be on Spotify, Google, Apple, and more, don't forget to go and follow me there too. And with all that said, I would like to say thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.